All right, it's been 5 minutes past the hour. I just want to welcome everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending on where you are. My name is Matilda Mwaba Lucas. I am the treasurer for the Organization of Zambians Abroad, and I will be the moderator for this call today. So on today, we have NAPSA joining us. And just right before we introduce the NAPSA team, I would like to call on President Sidik Gello to introduce, before I ask him to introduce the Director General, I would like to acknowledge the other executive members that are on the call. If I have missed anyone, please let me know. With us today, we have the chairperson for the General Assembly, Ms. Clotilda Simoya. We also have Dr. Stella. Mr. Henry Sakala has joined us as well. President Sidik Gello, I believe, and I don't think there's anybody else from the executive. If there's anyone I'm missing, please forgive me, let me know, and we'll be able to acknowledge you. At this point in time, I will call on President Sidik Gello to share some opening remarks and also introduce the Director General for NAPSA. Mr. Gello.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you can hear me, let me know. If you cannot hear me. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We really appreciate NAPSA for taking their time to address us concerning the projects that they will unveil to us, and the panel here that may have questions about their NAPSA standing. So please do, we do appreciate the NAPSA team. Thank you so much for coming. Right now, I'm going to introduce the Director General, Mr. Muyangwa, to just come on and say a few words. Welcome, sir. We really, really, really appreciate you addressing us in the diaspora. Thank you. Madam Matilda, if it's possible, I don't know whether if you can mute me while I do a few things, if that's okay. But for now, let's call upon Director General, Dr. Muyangwa. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the executive for organizing this. It has been long coming.
No,
without taking much of your time, I'll ask the NAPSA team and the people from the staff from the ministries to introduce themselves. So over to the NAPSA team, and then we can go to the ministries. Thank you.
Thank you, DG, and good afternoon, good morning to the members in the diaspora. My name is Asa Musosa. I'm Director, Contributions and Benefits. Thank you.
Over there.
Greetings. My name is Ason Banda. I'm head of customer experience from NAPSA. Thank you.
Greetings. My name is Akalava Mwimba. I'm manager coverage from NAPSA. Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Elton Makadiki. I'm the head of innovations here at NAPSA. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Hankambe. I'm from the Risk Directorate. Thank you.
For those test results, they let Tom's family know they were investigating the death as a homicide. Tom's ex-wife, Michelle, called Linda for an explanation.
Do we have Ason? Do we have people from the ministry?
She is that this happened. She didn't use the
Ason?
but I know that's what she felt.
Maringose and the director, are you on call?
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Malingose Banda. I'm from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. On call with me is the Director for Political Affairs from the Ministry as well, Mrs. Helen Chifoila. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that might be the team from Zambia. I don't know how you want us to proceed, whether we can go straight into the presentation. I give a few remarks and then we go into the presentation. You guide us, Madam Moderator.
DG, this is Secretary General Akashambatwa. Yes, that's accurate. You are going to give the remarks, and then after that, you give it to the person that is responsible for presenting the diaspora product thereafter. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being online with all the Zambians living in the diaspora. This is something that we have been discussing for a long time with organizations of Zambians living in the diaspora and other organizations as to how NAPSA can interact better with the Zambians living in Zambia and the Zambians living in the diaspora. We are at a very critical time in terms of looking at how we can utilize pension funds in Zambia to be at the center of motivating or influencing the economic transformation that we desperately need, and that lays a foundation for better results economically to come. The world over, it's known that pension funds play a very critical role in catalyzing economic transformation or investments within the domestic economies. You'd by now know that as NAPSA, all the investments that we've done or that the portfolio that we hold is all invested in Zambia. We are trying to pass through legislation that will allow us to participate or to make investments in the offshore, just to ensure that we have a diversified portfolio and manage our risks accordingly. Now, with the coming in of the partial withdrawal, a lot of opportunities began to open up from the design of NAPSA benefit side. And then when we're hit by the crisis, the energy crisis, and other, I'm not sure whether, I think there are certain mics that are open.
Your microphone is on.
A lot of the members, their microphones are on.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can mute your microphones, please, until the time for you to ask questions, and then unmute yourself. We made it this way because sometimes Zoom, when we mute you automatically from here, you won't be able to unmute yourself when time comes for you to ask a question. So we would greatly appreciate it if you can mute your phones, let the presenters give their presentations, and then unmute when and whenever you are asked to actually ask a question. There was also a question in the chat, DG, about our colleagues back home at the NAPSA. If you can, that is, if you can manage to be on camera while you present, that would be great. Thank you so much. DG, you may continue.
Thank you very much. That's me in the camera. So as you may be all aware, there is a lot of need in terms of capital for us to turn around our economy or to grow our economy and get our country on a positive footing for better things to come. The energy crisis did not help matters. The fact that we are going through a debt restructuring did not help matters. We were not a very preferred borrower. All lenders wanted to charge us a premium for whatever money we needed to borrow, or simply we couldn't borrow because we had reached a very bad rating from the credit rating schemes. That then focuses on an internal, we need to look inward and start asking ourselves what we can do from the resources that we marshal within Zambia or from the Zambians that can then be used as a catalyst to inform or to make the needed investments in the various aspects of our economy to drive the transformation. Mr. President, before I continue, I think I'd seen Ms. Mwauluka from State House. Maybe if she can just introduce herself quickly.
Thank you, DG. Thank you. My name is Winza Mwauluka. I work on the projects desk overlooking a portfolio of projects, and I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you, DG. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So as you can see from the representation from government, including at the highest levels, this is something that is of great importance. The president has been emphasizing he's quite excited with this product and wants us to get a move on to ensure that we start plugging or start bringing in the needed capital to invest in our country and in our economy. So as a response to this, we sat through as NAPSA and talking to the other executive and started looking at what else can we do to bring in more resources that can be used to turn around our country. One of the key issues that we at NAPSA quickly picked up on was everyone knows us as the people that pay the benefits or retirement benefits. But if you looked at what our forefathers had in mind when they created NAPSA, there is one key objective that they inserted for NAPSA that we need to fulfill, and that is to mobilize national savings to support national development. Now, there are a lot of opportunities, and in the presentation that we'll bring to you, we are trying to address, one, the issue of increasing, or maybe before I touch that, in our review as well, we noticed that there's a lot of room for improvement in terms of the adequacy of the benefits that the members of NAPSA are getting. So our focus was how do we bolster retirement incomes for most of our members, and also how do we make sure that NAPSA is inclusive of all Zambians regardless of where they live. The partial withdrawal demonstrated that we had a lot of inward focus that cut out a lot of people from the diaspora. They had a lot of difficulties to trying to get their partial withdrawal. But in so doing, we also realized one thing. Those who are from a banking background, they realize that we are sitting on so many dormant accounts. By dormant accounts, I mean NAPSA savings accounts whose owners are not making contributions, but they are alive and they haven't reached retirement age. The only misfortune, if I may put it that way, is that they don't live in Zambia. Now, that is a very big miss on our side and for the nation as a whole, because we need every Zambian to make sure that they can secure their retirement incomes, but also to make sure that they contribute to the development of the nation. Secondly, we realize that there's more that NAPSA needs to do to ensure that every Zambian has a social security account. NAPSA being the tier one public pension scheme. By tier one, I mean the default or the fallback on. We need to make sure that all Zambians, at least all Zambians of a certain age and with a certain income, can make a deliberate decision to save for their retirement, irrespective of whether they are working in the formal sector, they are self-employed, or what most people call informal sector, or they live outside the country. Zambia still remains, they still carry Zambian passports, and their inclusion in whatever efforts we need to put up in the country should not disadvantage those that happen just not to be living in the country at a particular moment, but they are Zambians. So we have brought in a suite of products that we think would like to have a discussion with you, the diaspora, to get your views on how, one, we can allow you to continue utilizing your accounts that you left at NAPSA when you left Zambia, and also how you can contribute using your own financial means to directly financing some of the projects that we at NAPSA may be undertaking. So basically, it's to allow Zambians to participate. Now, in doing that on the investment side, we are also in this year's budget, or in this year's, sorry, not budget, in this year's legislative reforms, would like to include other issues that allow for improved benefits to our members. Now, we also want to make sure that NAPSA, the NAPSA account is a universal account that every Zambian should have. So we are trying to put in measures that will make it much easier for any Zambian to actually have access to a NAPSA account. We have tried to also revise our systems to see if our systems can be more responsive and allow members, irrespective of where they are, or Zambians, irrespective of where they are, to either manage their accounts on their own or to actually make contributions to NAPSA. So in short, I think I'll leave it at that, and then maybe we can go more into details and showcasing the products that we are talking about. And I'll invite my colleagues that have been working on these products to at least make their presentation. I thank you, Mr. President, and everyone on the call. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DG. The moderator, Mrs. Matilda Lucas, that is a very informative presentation, DG. We have so many people, DG, that want to join. Initially, I think we had set at 100 people. We have maxed out, and we are getting a lot of traffic in our official OZA communication channels that more people want to join. So before your presentation, give me about 2 minutes to consult the technical people on how we can convert this discussion into a webinar. That way we can accommodate a lot more people that want to join. Mrs. Lucas, can you guide us?
Yes, indeed. Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. Sorry to interrupt the presentation. We originally set this up for a Zoom. However, we do have the capacity for having more than the capacity that has cut us off on the Zoom, but it will have to be a webinar. So if we could be given a few minutes, 5 minutes max, for us to convert from Zoom to webinar, we'll have to send a fresh link. If that is okay with everybody, we can do that. It allows up to 500 people to join, and right now we have reached the capacity for a Zoom. President, Chair, DG, your thoughts?
Anyway, DG, we'll resend you. Let's just go ahead and do it.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and do that, Madam Lucas. We are going to resend, and we are going to reshare the new link. Please log in. Don't go away. Log in. Just wait for us. We're going to post it in OZA General Assembly. We're going to put it on our OZA Facebook page.
I think let's post it in here before we log out.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and do that, Ms. Matilda.
Matilda, can you send a Zoom link to my WhatsApp? I'm driving. It's Maggie.
Miss Maggie will send it to you once it's set up. Yes, so we can send it to your WhatsApp.
Thank you.
Yes, someone said we should have known this, and it's true. I think it was lack of communication. If I had known that there was going to be a capacity limit on this current one, I would not even have thought about going this route. So we're really sorry for the inconvenience. So please bear with us. Yes.
My name is Theodora. Could I receive it in WhatsApp as well, please?
Yes. I'll do like always. I'll send it immediately to everyone. If
and she's about to share the link, the new link. Those of you that are here, President, those that are here, you can just click on the new link and it will transfer you to the new link. All right.
Okay, so everyone is asking me, is reminding me to send them to their WhatsApp. Yes, I've set it up that everyone will receive it at the same time, just in case you don't see it here. How far are we? SG, my treasurer, still working on it?
Yeah, treasurer is setting it up. She'll send you in a few minutes.
All right, okay.
This is 2:28 p.m. Eastern Time. How about we just say we all log back in after you send everything at 2:40? That way you get the breather you need, and we also can do some other things that we need to do. Thank you.
No, it's about to be sent. Like we said, we asked for 5 minutes. This is almost 3 minutes. So she's about to send you the link. That way our colleagues from home can also log in. We don't want you to miss anything.
If you need to log out now, just know that you still receive the link, especially if you receive messages from me. If not, please stay on. It won't take long.
What? Yeah, bro, you're out of here. What are you doing? Get out of here. Stop me. Come on, you're playing in the public? No, leave. You have a divine. Can I take a little one for you can read one? I might need a
If you may just mute your phones, that would be awesome. Thank you. The treasurer is almost there.
It could be next time, so be careful. I'm scared, but you will be. Nice. Armando, we need to fly the food at the get back to Florida. Oh, I have it. Huh? I have it? Yeah.
President, is there a way to mute people from your end, from the host?
No, I gave them that to
Treasurer.
but
Okay,
yeah.
we'll deal with that when she's done with the link. Oh.
Okay. Okay.
You can also mute them from your end.
Wait. Oh, there we go. Dang it, bro. There's still no. I don't even bother putting them in there. If you gasoline and coal. Oh, my contract. You don't need it. Just me. I need that. Oh, I don't have. So why is it? Full gasoline. Thank you, my good sir. I made it private. Oh. Careful what you do. Did you make? Did you do that? Yeah. Is that a zombie? What's the two balloons just in case for training?
Mr. Justin Zulu, if you can just mute your phone, please. Thank you.
Here's the plan.
But is the meeting on? We are not hearing anyone talking.
What's going on is we're trying to shift to a webinar because so many people are logging in.
Oh,
So,
okay. So we have
yes.
over flooded. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
we were flooded, and it's really our fault. So we do apologize
No one's fault.
for
No
that.
one's
Yes,
fault. No one's
yes,
fault. All of
yes.
us, we just need to share information. No one's
Oh,
fault.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll do just that, and in a
Oh,
bit, I know.
okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Not one, many.
please do let us know once it's shared so that we can know whether we are sitting on the wrong platform or we need to find it somewhere else. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we may just have to continue because we don't want to keep people waiting, the NAPSA team waiting like this. Sure. And yes, and we may just have to continue and then do better probably this week, on another day, if for those that may not be available or have failed to log in. But I think it's important that we just continue with the program, and yeah, and then everything else will come later. I really do appreciate that. So.
Mr. President,
Yes.
maybe just to assure you that should any need for another town hall arise, we are ready to present. Just give us the day and we'll come and make the presentation again, should we decide to continue in this format.
Okay, yes. Now I'll throw it to you as a NAPSA team. Would you prefer that we do that?
All right, welcome.
Madam Matilda, can you hear me? Hello. Yes. But the DSG, I don't know whether you can hear me. What I just said. Hello.
Welcome back. All right. Do I have everybody back on the screen? Okay. All right. I want to apologize again sincerely to everybody who were trying to join in and were not able to join in, or those who've joined in. And we had to interrupt the presentation for a few minutes. We were trying to get back to a webinar, to set this Zoom up as a webinar so that we can have more participation. However, that did not work out. So we will be able to continue on with the presentation. We will start from the presentation. Mr. Kalaba, is everybody on your team back on?
Madam Treasurer, can you hear me? This is Sadiq.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Madam Moderator. We can hear you.
What about me? Can you hear me? Sadiq?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Bana Sadiq. We can hear you.
Yes. Okay. So the question is, it's up to the NAPSA team. Would you want to continue now, or would you want us to?
Am I being heard? Can anyone hear me?
We can hear you.
If someone can give me some feedback.
The presenters there. Mr. President, we get an impression that we have not been able to set up a webinar, and therefore we would like to proceed with this format. That's what we seem to be getting from your team.
Yes. This is Masheka Kashamba Twaye at DG. I think we have close to 100 people in the room right now, and that's a good sizable number. Please continue with your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. And I was just saying, should there be need for another town hall, we are ready to come back as soon as you organize so that we can cater for our colleagues that may not have been able to join here. But before Kalaba comes on, there was a comment in the chat of the size of the NAPSA portfolio. We are standing now at about 106 billion kwacha, or for about 4.4 billion US dollars. Thank you very much. Over to you, Kalaba.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, G. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, colleagues on the call.
Because I figured you were so damn good, you could then.
Okay, so
can everybody please just mute the mics? If you're not talking, you just mute until you can unmute when you're trying to ask a question or something, please.
Thank you very much. So our presentation will be as outlined, where we'll start with some brief introduction, which pretty much DG has touched on, and then move on to the current gaps that are existing. Then briefly also introduce the key features of the proposed diaspora product and the Zambia Kuchalo Wealth Fund, and what really is the expected benefits, and conclude with highlighting what the next steps are. So just to reiterate the comments that DG made as part of the introduction, So to bolster retirement income and allow Zambians, including those in the diaspora, to prepare for decent retirement, as well as being able to invest back home, NAPSA is proposing to introduce two savings products, namely the supplementary savings product for which would work well for Zambians who are in the diaspora, who would have created an account at NAPSA and would have been making savings before they relocated. Also proposing the introduction of the diaspora savings product purely for Zambians who are living in the diaspora. And last but not the least, also proposing the introduction of a wealth fund, which would allow Zambians to co-invest with NAPSA. And this fund is being dubbed as the Zambia Kuchalo Wealth Fund. So briefly, what are the current existing gaps in our setup? One fundamental challenge or gap which is there is that the Zambian diaspora have for quite a long time lacked a trusted partner that they could then co-invest with back home. And this obviously then limits their willingness to invest back home and basically participate in the country's economic development agenda. Additionally, there is limited financial inclusion for the Zambian diaspora. And one example we wish to lay on the table is the fact that there is restricted access to local pensions for the Zambian diaspora. Further on, the other gap is that of inadequate retirement savings. And this pretty much arises from the fact that the Zambian diaspora are excluded from participating in the local pension scheme or contributing to NAPSA, as it were. Then there is also the lack of information on investment opportunities and vehicles for investment. So like DG touched on, currently there are a number of Zambians who have millions of dollars which are domiciled in individual bank accounts. And this is happening whilst there's this huge demand for financing key investments such as the green energy, etc. So whilst our country grapples with a huge infrastructure backlog, what is seen is that the Zambians who are holding millions of dollars in commercial banks, and that really does not offer the opportunity to optimize on the return on their investments. So that is one gap that that is currently existing. So how do we then deal with the existing gaps? Through the introduction of various products. So we will briefly touch on some of the key features of the Diaspora Savings product and the Zambia Kuchalo Wealth Fund. So with respect to the Diaspora Savings product, this will run on defined contribution design principles, and it will be open to Zambians living in the diaspora, provided they are between the age of 16 up to 65, 65 being our late retirement age. This will also be open for workers who are working for institutions with diplomatic privileges. And the investments that will be undertaken from this diaspora savings product will align with the PIA pensions and insurance regulations, so that the interests of the of the members are protected. Then in terms of the benefits, what are the benefits with regards to the diaspora savings product? So what is being proposed is that this product will use a two-pot system. A two-pot system means that there will be pot one, which will essentially be which will be given as a lump sum when one reaches the retirement age, which in this case is 60, or if they opt to retire at 65, then they would have access to 50% of their savings plus the accrued interest on the individual account. Then there is also the pot two, which is being proposed. And so this pot two, which is like 50% of what one has saved and accrued in terms of interest, then the member would have early access to the savings in pot two with a vesting period as will be prescribed according to the rules. So this would be like a member can access up to 50% of their savings, maybe every 2 years or every 3 years, as it will be prescribed. And this is meant to help the member meet short-term needs whilst they save for the long term in terms of their retirement. So there's a lot of flexibility built within the pot two of the diaspora savings product. And like I mentioned, these benefits will comprise of the principal contributions plus interest in line with the performance of the fund. So interest will be awarded on an annual basis depending on the performance of the fund. And moving on, the contributions will be in the hard currency, the USD. That is a proposal, and this is meant to insulate or protect the members from exchange rate risks. And these contributions will be voluntary, and there will be flexibility in terms of how often a member can make the contribution. So it could be even on a monthly basis or even on a weekly basis, or in short, as and when the member has capacity to be able to save, then they will be able to save as and when they are ready. And of course, there will be a minimum amount which will be allowable to be prescribed, and this will be informed through the market research and the benchmarking. So essentially, this really is the general picture around the diaspora savings product, tailored purely to meet the needs and aspirations of the Zambians living in the diaspora. So you allow me to move on to the Wealth Fund, which is being dubbed as the Zambia Kuchalo Wealth Fund. And this basically is meant to help Zambians both in the diaspora as well as those who are local to co-invest with NAPSA and build wealth. So whereas the diaspora savings product would more or less be looking at enhancing savings for retirement, the Zambia Kuchalo Wealth Fund is predominantly envisaged to help Zambians build wealth through investing with an institutional investor or a giant in the name of NAPSA. And so this purely is designed to be an investment vehicle through which Zambians and non-Zambians, including Zambian-owned companies, to be able to co-invest with NAPSA on specific projects. Okay. And funds allocated to a particular project will attract returns on that project based on its terms. So meaning that if there's one particular project that NAPSA has identified and wishes to execute, and say, for instance, if the marked interest on that particular project, say, is 9%, then the members who invest or who co-invest in that project then will be guaranteed of a 9% interest, as it were. And so this one, again, in terms of participation, it will be voluntary. And again, the contributions or the savings would be made in USD. And the other features which are quite fundamental relate to the fact that the Zambia Kuchalo Wealth Fund will be ring-fenced and accounted for separately from sets of NAPSA, and the investments will align with the risk profile of the members in terms of risk tolerance and horizon. And funds committed to the co-investment project will only be accessible after lapse of the project. So if a member commits funds to a particular project, it could be in solar, or it could be building any sort of infrastructure that could have been identified to be bankable, then they will have no access to those committed funds. However, the interest that would have been accruing on those placed funds, the members would always have access to the interest accrued until the project is delivered. If it's a 5-year project, or if it's a 10-year project, so meaning that whatever they could have invested then will run for the period of that particular project. So just to reiterate that the Zambia Kuchalo Wealth Fund is a product which is being pitched to help Zambians build wealth through co-investing with NAPSA. And this, in a way, will help Zambians to participate or to determine the destiny of our country in terms of economic development. So what are the expected benefits as I start concluding? What are the expected benefits of these two products that we've highlighted? Number one, it will help in terms of enhancing the pension system in our country, because it will offer an opportunity for everyone, including the Zambian diaspora, to be able to save back home. And it also help in terms of extending social security to everyone without leaving no one behind. And more so, this will also enable NAPSA to be able to take on more investment projects arising from the pooling of resources from all members, whether they are in country or out country. And then it also help the Zambian diaspora to maintain ties with Zambia, as well as participate in the economic development agenda. Additionally, it will also help in terms of increased foreign currency inflows from the diaspora. And this in itself, I think, will have ripple effects in terms of also it will have ripple effects in terms of also strengthening our local currency. And last but not the least, these two proposed products will offer an opportunity for co-investment with NAPSA from the diaspora, as well as the local Zambians. And the last slide, in terms of what are the next steps, where are we exactly? So starting from the bottom, there's the need for stakeholder engagements, and this is but one of the avenues then that NAPSA is using to engage the stakeholders, who in this case is a Zambian diaspora, and we're very grateful to OZA for having organized this forum. Additionally, we also need to undertake market research so that we gain in-depth understanding of what the real preferences of the potential members are, so that we tailor the products in a manner then that will ensure that there is willingness to save, or there is willingness for uptake. And we believe that even on this forum, we'll already start getting some feelers in terms of what can be tweaked from what is being proposed. So after this market research, then we'll move on to benchmarking with other similar institutions that have gone before us, who are already implementing similar products. Like here in Africa, we do know that there are countries like Nigeria that are already running such similar projects, including Rwanda and Kenya. So there's opportunity to benchmark just to ensure that we get it right and ensure that we have products that will save the needs of you, the Zambians in the diaspora. And then ultimately to translate into review of the whole value proposition of the two products, as well as implementation. So basically, this is how the roadmap looks like. And within here, there is need for, like DG mentioned, there is need for legislative changes to the current NAPSA Act, so that then it will be able to allow for ensuring that the Zambian diaspora do participate in not only the development agenda of the country, but also ensuring that they make savings back home for their retirement. So essentially, this is the presentation that we put together just to help facilitate for a conversation or engagement with the Zambian diaspora. And most importantly, like I mentioned earlier, the need for us to elicit feedback that will help us come up with a fit for purpose product for the targeted Zambian diaspora. So I think with that, thank you so much. I'll perhaps invite my colleagues in the COP maybe to add one or two issues that we could have left out. Otherwise, thank you so much for your attention. And we are happy to take questions or clarifications that may need to be sought. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Salava. Asa, would you want to add something?
Not at this moment, just to highlight that for the supplementary saving, the diaspora saving rather, this is a two-pot system, meaning that for every contribution made, that contribution will be split on the basis of 50%. One half will go to the retirement pot, and what sits in the retirement pot essentially cannot be touched until one has attained retirement age. That's the proposal. Then the other half, the other 50%, that goes into the savings pot. That is what will be available for early access at any age and at a frequency that will be determined later. I think that's one aspect I wanted to add to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe on my end, I just wanted to add on one benefit. In terms of the benefits for the diaspora saving, because of the flexibility, we've introduced things like immigration, where a person has been in the diaspora and they come back to Zambia. I think there's flexibility for them to either withdraw the entire saving or they convert to the local supplementary. That is what I wanted to add on. Thank you. I don't know if DG has any comment before we open it up for question and answers.
Yes, maybe just to emphasize the fact that even as capable as the Zambian institutional investors are in terms of financial muscle, what we are realizing is the demand for investment in terms of projects is much larger than our financial capacity. And that's why we are opening it up to allow Zambians to contribute. We feel that way our economic transformation journey will have a greater traction and will move at a faster rate than is happening now. We have had visits to the US, for example, and Qatar, and other countries where we're looking for co-investors. But what we seem to find is our colleagues are still stuck on classifying us as a very high-risk country, and therefore their ask makes all the projects become too expensive or capital too costly, and therefore the benefits to the investors and the promoters might not be worth it. We feel that us being long-term, we are capable of offering very competitive rates that allow good margins on the projects for the promoters, while also the investors get a very good return. So that's why we're coming to the diaspora, and even the Zambians here that have USD current accounts or savings accounts, where I think at the last check there's about $3 billion kwacha, $3 billion, sorry, in dollar accounts in Zambia, where people are mostly earning about 2%, 2 to 4% as interest from the banks. At the same time, NAPSA is sitting on term sheets that go between 9 and 9.5% on a dollar. So they can significantly make more money by putting that money in the investment that NAPSA is running than leaving it in the banks. Thank you.
If I may, if I would be indulged to ask a three-part question, I would be happy to do that.
Just trying to find out, is this the question time?
Yes, I think we've gone to question and answer time.
Okay. I have a question. My name is Mwelwa Mumbi, and I'm one of the person who has funds sitting in NAPSA and the old NPF, National Provident Fund contributions. You talked about Zambia Kuchalo NAPSA investment. What's the difference with the local contribution, the workers' contribution in Zambia, and the one that you are doing for the diaspora? Then my second question is, since the contribution will be in dollars, when it comes to time to get your money, is that money going to be given in dollars or it will be converted to the Zambian kwacha, since the country, I don't know what the country laws does. Is it, can you pay somebody in dollars in a foreign currency or in a local currency? Because I know about the economic laws that are in the country. That's my two questions.
Okay, let me take the second one, and my colleagues will take the first one.
All right.
Yes, you are remitting in US dollars. We invest it in US dollars, and we credit your account back in US dollars. So we're actually paying you back in US dollars.
Will that money be paid in Zambia or it will be paid again if you live abroad? Is it going to be sent to you abroad? Because I know it may have an economic impact on the country because we need that dollar money to stay in the country to improve the economy.
Very valid question, and we would rather you kept it here, but that's why we are here, to hear your views.
All right. Is there a way we can get the presentation on emailed to us? Because I need to go through these slides that were presented. Maybe in future I can have personal questions to ask you.
Yes, this will be shared. And just to let everyone know that we still have to go through a legislation process, but what we have here will be shared with the executive, and then they can distribute to all the Zambians in the diaspora. I can attempt your first question. There is a significant difference. If you look at what my colleague was indicating, we are actually introducing a new form of an NAPSA account, which is more voluntary than the mandatory. So the diaspora is a voluntary savings account, whilst most of those that you find in that are currently existing under NAPSA, it's a mandatory account. But even for the local Zambians, we are introducing what we call supplementary savings, where they can deposit at their own, or they can contribute at their own time, without going through the one that says if you don't submit by the 10th, then you are going to get penalties and all that. So that is the difference. So we are creating two systems. There's one which, the one which is a NAPSA we know, which says your employer pays for you by the 10th, it still stands. But then we are saying, we are removing, I think you are aware that under NAPSA, there's a restriction as to how much money you can actually put in your NAPSA account. It's called the ceiling. We are taking that out and replacing it with what is called supplementary savings, where now it's voluntary for you to put money in the supplementary account, your supplementary account with NAPSA, as and when you are capable or you are able to put in money. So that's the difference. But what you have on the diaspora, the only difference is you are putting in hard currency. Those living in Zambia then will be putting in the kwacha, using kwacha. That's the only difference. Otherwise, it's different from the traditional NAPSA account in that it's not mandatory.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. DSG,
I have a question.
Maybe
before somebody asks that question, and make sure that you say your name before. But then there was a question here that which was answered. Has NAPSA resolved the issue with its online portal, enabling individuals in the diaspora to access their accounts without needing a Zambian mobile line? We invest prior to relocating, but we currently unable to access our accounts. Now, the answer was that that hasn't been resolved. So how soon will it be resolved? That's what most people ask.
We have a member of our ICT team and also the guys that manage the benefits. So Asa and Elton, you can come.
Okay, maybe before we respond to the issue with regards access to the current accounts, maybe let me just add another difference between what we are proposing now and the current mandatory scheme. So under the mandatory scheme, what essentially is paid out under the mandatory scheme is a monthly pension after somebody has met the threshold of 180 months. And then in terms of how the two schemes will be governed, there's a difference. My colleague did mention that the proposed product will operate under defined contribution principles. So under a defined contribution principle, essentially what one gets is the accumulation of their contribution plus the interest which the contributions would have earned in the various investment to which they would have been deployed. But under the current statutory, the scheme operates under a defined principles. And under defined principles, what is paid to members when they are eligible for retirement or at death, or when they are incapable of working because of poor health, is in a way prescribed in the law. For instance, currently NAPSA aims to pay about 40% of somebody's insured earnings. So that's the two differences or additional differences. Then coming back to the question regarding access to the partial withdrawal benefit and to accounts. That has not yet been done because we are previously using a third-party technological solution, and for us to enable that, we had some challenge. So what we did somewhere in mid-June, we replaced that old system with a system which is homegrown by our own IT staff. Having done that, we are now working to enable this access by members that are living in the diaspora. So Elton will come in just to indicate the timelines when this will be actualized, hopefully before the end of the year. Thank you.
All right, my name is Henry Sakala. I'm calling from New York. And my question is a TPN number must have before you invest in any of your products? And the second question is, in terms of, you said the distribution should, when you invest in a pension, a distribution should be done when you're 65. I'm asking in terms of a disability, when somebody is disabled, is there a waiver where, in terms of disability, somebody can access those funds before reach 65? Another one is in a core investment to finance a project, when it's time to distribute, when the project is over, is the money given back to the investors taxable, and at what rate? Thank you.
In addition, my question is twofold. One, NAPSA, are you a quasi-government organization? And two, the discussion we're having today, is it a discussion or it's based on policy? Because at the end of the day, we've worked with quasi-government organizations, and when we're about to implement, they can't because they do not have the mandate. Do you guys have the mandate for these things you're suggesting or proposing? That's the biggest thing that we need to factor in here. The next question is this. I'll give you a scenario, right? My dad worked for the water company forever. He contributed to Zambia National Provident Fund. He retired. He had to wait for 12 months of whatever contributions you guys were giving him to be able to buy a loaf of bread. So my question is this: is NAPSA playing the Lusaka stock market, or is it registered as part of the Lusaka stock market? There's a big difference there, because whatever money we guys put into this project you guys are proposing, how much do we get in return? We understand the stock goes up, down, but what kind of policy are you giving us? Are you giving us an index policy, or you're just giving us the normal policy? So those are things that we need to understand going in before we even start talking about this thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before Pastor Nathan Kama asks a question, let's give chance to the NAPSA team to respond to those questions.
Okay. Let me start with the question of whether we are quasi or not. I don't know if the member has noticed the representation that is on the Zambian side. We have NAPSA, we have Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we even have State House here. So what we are talking about is a policy that is part of the legislative changes that are going to happen this year. So there is no question of us not being able to implement. And I'll let you know now that one of the major champions for the Diaspora Savings and the Zambia Kuchalo is the head of state himself, who has been saying we need to move quickly so that we allow our Zambians to participate. Secondly...
oh, sorry, do we have a member of parliament up here in this legislature? No?
No, we haven't reached that stage yet. This is a stakeholder engagement. Once we finish this, that's when it goes, because at that point now we are talking about legislative changes. So we have the legislative changes that are going to cabinet. Once cabinet approves, then they go through the normal process of ascension through parliament, and then the president signs off the bills.
Okay, yes. You may continue with answering the rest of the questions.
Okay. The second question is how much money you get out of us. So now, let me put it this way. First of all, apart from the Zambia Kuchalo Wealth Fund, the others go through the normal pension treatment in Zambia. The pension in Zambia is not taxed. It's tax-free. You get your contributions and your benefits without any taxation. That is not going to change. On the investment side, what we are putting in is also we want them to be exempt. But that's now a discussion that we're going to have, and at a policy level, a decision will be made as to which direction we need to go. But we don't see why an exemption will not be preferred, because we feel that the whole idea is to try to kickstart the Zambian economy. And if we can have as much money as possible circulating into project financing, then we'll have, even the taxman will have a better economy on which taxation shall subsist than trying to tax at a growth point. The growth point is the available money for investment. So those are some of the issues that are coming in. The TIN, we would rather be in the forefront and then the issues of taxation come behind us than trying to tax the money at the point that we're trying to make the product. Now, having said that, those are some of the issues that we're expecting from the diaspora, that your representation or your input is in a preferred situation, that then we say, this is a position that the diaspora feel is more helpful, and therefore we push through the agenda to get it passed. So this is part of that consultation to get your views as what you prefer. From what you are presenting here, sir, you'd rather they are not taxable. So those are the issues, the views that we want to get from you, the owners of the fund, as you bring to for investment. So to wrap up the two questions, the chances of someone saying we cannot implement this are almost zero, because this is coming. These pension reforms have been authorized at cabinet level. There are other questions. I'll leave my colleagues to address the other questions that are there. I don't seem to remember them, and maybe moderator, if you could be allowing us to get three. If they become too many, we tend to forget.
That's right. I agree with you. And please, if you have a question, if you can just give that symbol, that hand symbol, so that we can come to you. We do not want a situation where someone just starts speaking. Please do that. Show your hand, and we'll come to you. If the NAPSA team wants to answer the other three questions that were there, please do, and then we'll give it to Pastor Nathan, because I see that his hand icon is there. Thank you, NAPSA, if you may continue.
Yeah, maybe on the one, I didn't get the question on NAPSA playing the stock exchange. I'm not very sure.
I can repeat it if you want.
Yes, please.
Okay. My question is this: the premise is simple, right? I'm a Lusaka City Council brat, right? My dad worked all his life for Lusaka City Council. He retired as a manager, but he had to wait, collect his January check, February check, until December for him to be able to go buy a loaf of bread, because you got ZNPF back then was not playing the market. If they were playing the market, his pension would rise or fall, regardless. My question is this: are you guys part of the Lusaka Stock Exchange, or you are registered, or you do not do that? Because if you don't do that, then the premise of this discussion we're having today is now in void, because one, you cannot raise money or increase value on money if you're not playing the market. That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, let me answer it this way. I'm sure you heard my colleague describe that we have two types of schemes. Now, on the defined benefit scheme, the benefits that are paid out are defined by law. They are prescribed. You cannot come and say yes, you qualify, but you are going to get X. No, that is prescribed by law. It's known already at the time you are getting to retirement, or by the time you are getting to retirement. A calculation formula is already prescribed that applies to everyone who is a member of NAPSA. That is on the defined benefit. Now, with regards to Zambia National Provident Fund, yes, there are other issues that might have given rise to people getting whatever money they were getting that is not adequate. I'm sure you heard in my opening remarks where I was saying one of the key issues we are trying to address is the adequacy of the retirement benefits themselves. So in the law that is going to be passed this year, there are two types of laws. There are two laws already that are dealing with improving the level of benefits that the Zambians get. One of them is going to address the rate at which the pension gets accrued. It's moving from a 1.33 to a 1.5 factor. The other one is the minimum pension that anyone who serves with NAPSA on the mandatory side is going to get. That is going to be prescribed. It's going to move from roughly about 1.7 to 2,000, 2,300 or something like that. Now, that may not sound like a very big amount, but more than 50% of the pensioners that will be paying, that might result in more than 100% income replacement because they were not getting anything like 2,000 when they were in employment. So we are fighting two battles. There's a battle where we say we need to improve the quantum of the benefits that people get when they retire. We need to make sure that it's deliberate, that we target. And one of the key issues you have seen us we are doing is coming back saying, look, if you start limiting how much someone can contribute, you are also limiting how much they will get. Remove this ceiling issue and allow people to make their own calculations and bring in the money for investment, for retirement. That suits what they are targeting at retirement. So the pots, the mandatory and the voluntary, both of them now add together to increase the amount of money that you get in retirement. In terms of how much money we pay back, we have our own basis of determining. Now, I'm sure you heard my director of contributions mention that depending on the performance of the investment. Now let's look at the investments that we are targeting. If we are talking about the roads, the energy sector, we are already talking about 9 and 9.5% interest rates on a dollar.
Oh.
We have already taken in measures to ensure that there is actually no way we are not going to recover that money. We have ring-fenced the payments that come if you are solar, if you are an energy, if the project is on energy, we don't go to ZESCO. We go to the mine that actually consumes the power and ask them to pay their monthly payments into an escrow account where we are signatories, from which the interest as it falls due is paid back to NAPSA. In addition to that, we take collateral. Some of it is in the form of policies, insurance policies. Some of it is debentures on the entire asset. So there's no way in the current format how we are setting it up that you are going to get less than what you'd get anywhere in the market. You might even get higher. I've just mentioned that if you put your money in some of the stocks, maybe apart from CEC, I think you struggle to get a 9% interest. Our payments are assured because we also get the interest payment as and when it's due. We have the muscle to create revenue streams that ordinarily most people would not be able to create. I'll give an example. There are very few projects where you are paid interest during construction. Some investments that NAPSA has made, we get interest even during construction. So those are part of the assurances that we provide. And that's why we feel that we are an intermediary before people start going to the stock exchange. That is much easier to interact with because we have set up a system and we are guaranteed that then makes sure that the people that invest with us, it's much safer for them to deal with us directly than to go through third parties. So we have our own returns that are determined, and then that's a benchmark that we should make sure that we pay back to the investors. I've now just given you two examples of two large investments that we have, where the minimum is a 9% and the other one is getting 9.5% on the dollar. We managed to get those on a tax-exempt basis.
9%, I would go to bed with that every day, every night. Thank you for your explanation. My only rebuttal to this is this. Where is the legislature on this? I'm glad that we have State House on the call. That's great, but at the end of the day, if we do not have legislation that supports this, then we are still back in the he said, she said kind of scenario.
I can assure you, don't worry about that.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, listen. I'll rest easy when I know the legislature is on board.
I'll tell you, the reason we are consulting you is because as we are speaking now, the drafts are already being done. So we are running a parallel process, the draft this side and the consultation this side. So we can have a process where the law says we are going to introduce the following, and then it prescribes that the mechanisms or the mechanics of how this is going to work shall be issued through a statutory instrument. Those are some of the issues, how you manage the passing of the legislation. But for sure, we need to pass the legislation, and we are 99% sure that the legislation will go through because we do not see anyone who does not want what we are trying to introduce here. There's already pressure in the country to introduce some of the issues that are here. So it's responding to the cause by the members of the public.
Thank you so very much. I'll say Kwenyu on that one too.
Kwenyualization, sir. Colleagues will take on the others. I may have forgotten the others that came through because there were quite a number. I think there were more than 5.
So maybe you can respond to the one to do with access to benefits at death or at invalidity before age 65.
Okay, thank you so much. So in terms of the benefits, there are quite a number of benefits which we are proposing under the DC product. And the goodness with DC, that is the defined contribution principle, there is a lot of flexibility. And basically what you will maintain, it is more like an account where every year when the interest is declared, you know how much you've accumulated. In our proposal, we are proposing for invalidity benefits, meaning when a member is invalid, they can withdraw their money. We are also proposing for, like I mentioned, immigration. In the event that you are contributing to the diaspora in dollar and you relocate to Zambia, you can withdraw everything or you can opt to to convert at a certain rate, depending on the period you want to convert to the local supplementary. We also have the survivors, and also I think we have quite a number of benefits aligned. Remember, it is a two-pot system. The first pot being as flexible as a member asking to just get the money for, you can even save for simple things like building a house. You just want to accumulate some capital. After 24 months, you can withdraw. So all those are embedded in terms of the benefits, but we are still open to get suggestion before we actually finalize the business rules. That is partly why we are engaging, is to get the feedback from the target group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's also a question here. We had mentioned that the NAPSA team would attend the coming Independence celebration in Atlanta. There's a question whether those plans are still on, and probably Nathan Kama, if you are ready to ask your question, please, you may.
Yes, thank you. My question is on the contributions. You've said that they're supposed to be in dollars. I'm coming from the point of view or angle of we are all aware that one of the major investments that those of us in the diaspora have is the real estates that we have built, the many houses which could be in different forms, and we do receive rentals. Would you consider this being a stakeholder meeting and you're trying to get feedback? Would you consider making a provision for somebody to make contributions in Kwacha if I want to use my rentals as a way to reinvest in the two products that you have introduced? To that point, this, in my view, would also help the issue which has been which was just referred to being an issue of immigration. If somebody decides to go back home, I may choose not to withdraw that money since I was not contributing in dollars, it's in Kwacha, and I choose to continue making the contributions. Those are the 2 points that I wanted to raise. Would you consider that aspect of investment from the diaspora, what we get from our real estate investment, to be used as contributions to these products you are introducing? Thank you.
I think that must be Bishop Nkama. Nkama, that's allowed.
Okay.
Yes, because we'll have actually, you remember we said that a diaspora saving, we are just calling it a diaspora saving just to differentiate that the person who is saving might be saving from outside. But the locals also have that, is called supplementary savings. So even, so Kwacha, USD is all accepted.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And concerning the question on whether you are coming to America in person, the team, the NAPSA team.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, I hear you have already sourced out a sponsorship for us, but we are coming to participate.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll send a team through as we had discussed. You just need to notify us what dates those are so that we can start dealing with some of the issues that we may not mention here. I don't know if we were required to pay a 10,500 deposit or something. I'm not sure. but we might have to fall back on government and see how we can be assisted. So the earlier we get the invitation, the better, because they will need that.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Any other question from anyone? I haven't seen a hand raised icon.
There are
My
two.
hand is up.
Alex Kalambata.
I had some questions in the chat. I don't know if those have been responded to.
Okay, let's start with Mr. Alex Kalambata.
Yes, can you hear me right?
We can hear you now, yes.
Okay, yeah. So, as guys in the diaspora, we have a lot of competing vehicles for investments. Like most of us, we already contribute to 401k or 401b, whatever those for non-government organizations. So the basic question is, what is attractive about your products? Why should I invest? I think that's a fundamental question. Like, what are the interest rates? Because I'll be there sitting and say, okay, if I put my money in this product, this is the reason, because I'll get a higher return than where I am now. So the basic question is, what's attractive about your products? Why should I choose to invest in your product versus other competing investment products?
Thank you. That was one question. Maybe we can throw in another one from NGN. NGN, if you can just unmute and then you can ask your question. It just says NGN. Okay.
Hello,
yes, okay.
good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, great. Very interesting product that you're going to implement. Obviously, once we get more details, then we'll be able to make a decision. My question this evening, it's really two questions around what sort of time frame are we looking at to implement? And also, do you also have your own like mailing list? Some of us are not members of OZA. We're also not in the States. So we've just sort of gate crashed this meeting. But I'd be interested to know if there's like a mailing list independent. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, by the way, this meeting was not just for OZA members, it is for the diaspora. So you are actually in the right group. It's for all Zambians in the diaspora.
Fantastic. I know you guys work really hard in the States. Some of us just cruise Facebook and find ourselves in these meetings. So
you are welcome. You are welcome. Yes. Okay. Let's give it back to the NAPSA, and then about Grace Chipungu, if you're ready. Then we'll see the NAPSA. The rest of the team will let us know when it's time to stop. I think this is 3:44 ET. Maybe we'll finish at 4. The group is ready.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Chair, may I just submit before NAPSA DG say something?
Is this Grace?
No, this is Windsor from State House.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. You may continue. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. So I wanted to just say that we certainly have to look for innovative financing mechanisms. As the DG was explaining, remember we're on a drive to grow the economy, and we need to move away from depending on the treasury, which is what we've been doing for a very long time. So now what we've been doing is, as much as possible, we are shifting the risk onto private partners. But the private partners will come in, as we are saying, if your interest is attractive, you're investing in projects that are bankable, and they've been well structured, they're commercially, all the viability, all of the boxes have been ticked, then why not invest in it? So from our point of view, from the state's point of view, we can't be going to taxes because it's not sufficient. So the Treasury can only invest so much, for instance, in student accommodation, but even then, we're expecting private sector to come in. So I hope you understand. I think I heard the question that was being advanced. Why should we look at these products? We are looking at non-bank financing solutions. So believe me, whenever we're in meetings, we talk about how we expect institutional investors to be investing in the projects. Yet we are not party to the back end. So as far as we're concerned, at the front end, NAPSA should give us this money, you know. But in the back end, NAPSA is really working very hard to find these innovative solutions. I'll tell you, we've been working quietly with Rural Electrification Authority. Remember about the energy crisis. So working very quietly, trying to ensure that we are helping structure our energy projects. So it's one thing to just say invest in solar. It's another thing to actually make sure that your PPAs are bankable, your power purchase agreements are bankable. So I'm just putting it out there so that you understand from the back end how rather from the front end, how this expectation is that we should shift away from the traditional ways of financing and going to innovative ways. And just to touch on the part of the or just out of interest, if you listen to the president's speech, the fifth session in Parliament, he touched on the importance of opening up the capital markets. And this is something that is advancing very soon. So what I would say is that I would believe that this exercise is the institutional investor trying to set the ducks in a row and trying to attract the diaspora as private investors. So I thought, let me just put it out there and so that you just understand that this is very real and this is very important from the president's perspective. Thank you.
Just to tie up on just because she said she's from State House, I want to make this statement. Us in the diaspora, I belong to two organizations, big organizations with good capital inflow, right? You guys are running CDF programs and things like that, which are really like net zero kind of operations. What we're saying is this: we would like to team with you because we're going to create jobs for Zambians. By you putting in your CDF capital, we put in our capital, but we're creating jobs for Zambians. But these opportunities are not happening right now. You can take my number, you can take my name. That'll be great. I'll look forward to hearing from you, and we can move this conversation forward. Bottom line is this: we want to move forward, but we want to move forward in a way that makes sense. The time for discussion and talking, I think, is really done. We just have to implement. Thank you.
That's why we're here. Thank you, Mr. Muluso. Yes. But to the NAPSA team.
Yeah, let me just come back on that. Look, opportunities for investment, anyone who has investment capital has options to choose from. Even here in Zambia, there are so many options that people choose from. Treasury bills, what others do, whatever. So we are not going to restrict, but all that we say is, as you are looking at those options, look at what we are offering and see if it offers or it matches with your expected returns. And if it does, please do come in. I can confidently say within the Zambian economy, there are very few that can beat NAPSA in terms of the return on the money that you send to us. And if people don't believe me, you should ask those who got their 20%, how much they got out of the 20% contribution when they compare the raw contributions and the actual amount paid. We are confident that we'll still be able to marshal more resources and provide that capital to projects at a much lower cost than our colleagues in the banks can ever give. Because of the manner in which we marshal the savings and the long-term nature of a pension fund. They are operating more short-term, therefore there's all sorts of things that they need to deal with. We lend money to them because we are able to give them a lower rate than they can ever get, and then they on-lend it. Now, what we are saying is this: you'll still be able to assess how much we respond to your needs in terms of your investment portfolio and what returns you are looking at. But don't overlook the fact that we have given you a channel as a diaspora that for a long time have been complaining that they have been left out of contributing to their country, we now have provided a channel through which you can make that contribution to the channel, not for free to your country, not for free, but at a rate of interest that you may not be able to get in other areas. So really, that's why it's voluntary. It depends on your assessment. Us will be socializing the investments that we come up, the term sheets, up to even now. Every time we have a new investment, the term sheets are public knowledge. We make sure that we publicize them. But now for the Zambia Kuchalo Wealth Fund, that will be the mode through which you know what kind of projects have now been assessed, have reached conclusion within NAPSA, and what rates, what returns they offer. And then you make a decision. So we are not saying we may be the best. You may find other ways of investing. But before you invest elsewhere, considering the fact that the other countries are now sitting down on their money and not sending it to your home country for its own development, we are looking for patriotic capital. Capital from Zambians developing Zambia, irrespective of where those Zambians are sitting. That's all we are trying to do here. This, I can safely say, the success of this will transition into the other areas that the earlier participant had questioned of stock exchange and all that. But we are also looking at how practical it is. How do Zambians view some of these markets? Which market has given some credibility that people can quickly jump on? And when it becomes a hit and is successful, it transitions to other forms. We have no problem with that. All that we are saying is pension funds can ignite the development of the local economies, and NAPSA wants to be one such pension fund. I thank you.
Thank you so much. We have only 8 more minutes left. I know we're going to have to allow another time for another Zoom call and more people, so more people can come in. But I'll hand it over to Nachongo. And there's also Mr. Ricky. He says, Mr. Ricky, that wants to ask a question. So please, if you can, make sure that you bring in your questions as fast as you can, so that they can answer it also in a timely manner. And then we'll be done by 4. Yeah. So Nachongo, please, you may go ahead. Okay, because I saw your hand up, Nachongo. Okay, Mr. Ricky, are you available? I saw your hand.
Yes, I'm available, Chairman.
Yes, okay.
President Siddiq.
Yes, okay.
Mine is a vote of thanks. Okay.
Okay.
First and foremost, I would like to thank you, President Siddiq, and your committee for what you are doing for the Zambian people in diaspora.
Thank you.
Thank you for providing this forum. And trust me, we have confidence in what you are doing. The second vote of thanks goes to Director Nyangwa and the group for the opportunity to interact with us, for engaging us. Now, what you have thrown to us, Director, is a challenge which Bank Governor Dan Karialia threw to us 3 years ago as Zambians in diaspora. In his speech, Director Karialia challenged us to say, look, who's investing in Zambian securities? It's people from abroad. And these are big companies like people from the Wall Street. Yet us Zambians are sitting there and not doing anything. So we take up these challenges with both hands and want to assure you that as diaspora, we want to find the niche of we want to participate in, to want to be your partners in the projects that you're going to give us. I belong to an organization that has over 300 members. And we've been looking for ways and means of investing in other products other than government securities. And you've just provided that answer this afternoon. But what I'd like to, as a conclusion, what I'd like to ask is the same openness that you've shown today should continue, because You've told us that you are open to discussion. You'd like to partner with us. You want to leverage the money that the diaspora have either in local banks or out here. But when we come knocking on your door, please be open so that we can have these open discussions with you. Thank you so much.
Hear me?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Barik, and good to see you after a very long time.
Hello.
Let me just
I
respond
don't
to
know.
that. Just respond to that because he has raised a very important issue. If he maybe you joined a bit later, but you may have heard me saying NAPSA has been going around in financial centers looking for additional capital to bring to Zambia on a co-investment basis. So we are not giving up that hunt. So even as we are inviting Zambians, we know that the demand for capital to finance projects is much larger than what NAPSA alone is capable of putting into these projects, or even all the Zambian institutional investors. So the answer lies, first of all, in making sure every Zambian contributes. And then I think we are all agreed. The best way to attract foreign direct investment is not to go with a begging bowl, but to go and say, as Zambians, whether living in the diaspora or in Zambia, we have raised 90% of the capital requirement. We want you to come and put in 10. Not going in, we have raised 0, we want you to bring 100. They always ask you, why don't you have confidence in your own country? Why aren't you investing in it? So, Barik, this is not going to be the end. We'll have more engagement. We want to tap into the connections that the Zambians in the diaspora have made, their own money that they have, that they need to bring to develop their own country. Every country the world over is beginning to look inward. All our solutions lie inward. And we feel NAPSA and other institutional investors can play that role of being the magnetic institutions that allow all Zambians everywhere to see projects that are available and be able to make a contribution to our development. So this is not going to end. This is just a beginning, and we really, really want this to be successful because we see what other countries have done with their diasporas, and we cannot be left behind. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Madam Nachongo, if you can speak, and I think you will be the last speaker on this one, and then NAPSA will respond, and then we will end.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Oza and the NAPSA team for giving us this opportunity. However, my understanding of financial instruments is still very young, so I need to get more information in terms of, you were talking mostly about, I heard reference to solar investments. Are there any other products apart from solar that one can invest in? Or my question, yeah, just that's the first question. And the second question is, I think you said there's going to be a return of like 9% to 9.5%. I find that to be pretty generous. Just curious, in terms of where the money is going to come from, that will give us such a good return on our investment. Is there a pilot, or is this just going off of other countries that have already implemented these programs? Those are my two questions.
Okay. Let me start with, you are saying you are looking at the range of the projects that are available. Let me start by giving you the asset classes in which the NAPSA, which make the NAPSA investment portfolio. There are 12. In there you have listed equity, private equity, you have banks, you have energy projects, you have road infrastructure projects, you have, there are so many. And all that we do is we are actually an investment company that receives proposals for people who want their projects to be financed. And then we pick based on our capacity. There are many more projects that we could finance, but we can't even finance them because we have run out of money for financing those projects. That's where you come in. So it's a wide variety. Right now, we have certain things that are a priority to the nation. And one of them is energy. If we don't solve the energy crisis, allow me to use a light comment here. You may not have a country to return to or an economy to return to. By the time you come back, it will be in tatters. We need this energy crisis to be sorted out quickly because all the economic transformation targets hinge on this energy crisis being resolved now. Otherwise, we are going to lose 5 to 10 years of economic progress that we cannot afford to lose. So there are a lot of issues that are happening. I'll give you another, maybe just a glimpse into what NAPSA is doing. We are now trying to invest into what we call mining value addition. We have put out call for proposals. For Zambians, whether living in the diaspora or inside here, to bring proposals of how we can leverage on our mineral wealth to add value and claw back most of the value that is in the value chain that so far we have not been able to utilize because we are at a raw material provider level. We want to go to the higher streams where most of the value is gained. So you can invest with us in a mining value addition project that helps to turn whatever mineral Zambia produces into a final product that we sell to the markets. Africa alone, if I may give an example, we have been given information that a certain size of a copper wire has a 2 trillion US dollar value. You don't want to guess who the major supplier of that copper wire is. It's China. But where does the copper come from? It comes from
Zambia.
Africa, Zambia and Congo. So we are in using some terms of a president I won't mention. We are exporting jobs, which we cannot afford to do. So if NAPSA sets up a factory here and you co-invest with us, I heard one of the Zambians say, come up, we say we need to create jobs. That's how we create jobs and we solve these issues of our youth being unemployed. So those are some of the issues that are actually involved in here. The good thing is all these projects will be socialized to you and made public so that you can choose which one you want to go into and co-invest with NAPSA.
Okay. I appreciate that because I've been a long proponent of Africa in general, raising to just being a supplier of raw materials. So I do like that, the idea that you just raised.
Like someone
Yes.
said, the time for talking is over.
Yeah.
We need to do something.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. No, thank you so much. I'll have the NAPSA team or State House to say the last word on anything, and then we will close this meeting, and we will of course propose for another town hall meeting with NAPSA, because we know that this is just the beginning. Over to you, NAPSA.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'll start with our ministries and State House. We start with State House and our ministries, and the NAPSA team will comment last.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Mrs. Mauruka.
Thank you so much, DG and Chairperson. We need your help. We need your help, diaspora, and I agree. We've been talking, but the truth is, it's not easy to just call for financing. You are also investing. You are taking risks. You must trust this institutional investor because they do. I've worked with them very closely. Mr. Muyangwa is often with us, or I'm working with him. I see the due diligence that is undertaken on contributors' money. investors' money. So as he said, they are an investment vehicle and they undertake their own due diligence. So I would plead that you consider and work very closely with them. On our end, as a state, we were trying to close projects. We talk about often reaching financial close, and seeing the money. However, it's a lot of background work that has to come to bear before you actually see this money come through and fund an actual project. So I'm just having insights into the back end, and I really appreciate this. And I just want to say that this is certainly in line with the big picture. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs or International Relations.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. On behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we just want to say thank you to NAPSA and OZA for organizing this town hall. It speaks directly indeed to what the ministry is also trying to do in its implementation of the diaspora policy. So really, we look forward to seeing results from this initiative and also seeing our diaspora actively participate in growing our nation or our economy. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Asa and our team, Elton, Kalaba, and Brian, and quick comments if you have any.
DG, before maybe NAPSA comes, I think Minister of Labor is represented now.
Oh, okay. Let them come in. My apologies. Please come in. That's our parent ministry.
Sakalanga.
Okay, in cases maybe we can proceed. When he's ready, he can come in before we close. Please go ahead, Asa and Tim.
Thank you, DG, and thank you, Oza, for putting together this engagement. We know that some of your members may not have an opportunity to put across their question. So we want to suggest that perhaps outside this meeting, we can set up a platform that can enable them to submit their question or submit their input with regards to the two products we've presented. We really need to get your input so that as we finalize, the diaspora savings product reflects the needs of your members. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Director, has everyone?
I think the others have been spoken for, but thank you very much for this. I see that guys from our team, there are questions in the portal. Please, on the chat, please can we respond to them so that the members that asked can get an answer. But maybe just from our side, this is something we have been speaking about for a while with the GS, the president, Vanathan, those who were there in the beginning when the idea started. I think it's time we actualized. It's time we actualize, and we have no option but to make sure that we can mobilize these finances or this capital for the sake of ensuring that our economy ticks. There are many more things that we are doing as NAPSA. There was a question here asked about how easy to open an account. We have transferred the responsibility of opening an account from an employer to an individual. The owner of the account should be the one that goes to our portal and make sure they have an SSN. Where we are going, we will not even need you to have an SSN. We just need you to have your national registration card number or your national ID number, and that automatically entitles you to an SSN account. So these are some of the issues, and the whole issue is we have a large sector of the Zambian economy that is currently not contributing much. but the money is available. They may not just be aware of some of the opportunities that they can have if they are working with NAPSA, Workman's Compensation, ZCCMYH, and all others. But this is the beginning. And from here, we can elevate these and modify these products as to answer to the needs of the investors themselves. So please, would like to work together to actualize this. Our target is the law gets passed in 2025. By 2026, we should be ready. If we can find practical ways of actually delivering it easier, we will be able to discuss with you and find how else, if you have any suggestions to make, we can actually even do it faster. Because the number of projects that require financing is huge. We have more than $2 billion in demand right now, just for NAPSA alone. If we add what is at ZESCO, if we add what is at other institutions, it might hit 5 billion easily. And we need to raise that money. So what we are looking for is patriotic capital that is coming from the Zambians and the Zambians themselves developing their own country. I thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just to add, before we close, please, we are very patriotic Zambians in the diaspora, and we are sitting on capital north of $1 million, and we can double it, we can triple it, we can quadruple it, but we want it to grow in Zambia. And hence the reason why we are participating in this, and we look forward to working with you guys, State House, the legislature. Very important that this is put in the books so we can actually move forward. What we don't want is to put money and then it's locked. We want money to grow. And I say thank you and God bless you all.
You've come to the right. You have come to the right place, sir, where they have proven they have a habit of growing money. Thank you very much.
Yes, Mr. DG Myangwa, ever since NAPSA approached us, we've had hundreds of people asking questions, commenting, and I've realized that this is larger, this is bigger than even OZA. This is something that people here in the diaspora want to undertake. They're just afraid, the risk because of maybe what happened in the past, or is this real, and everything. But that's why they are here. So please, please, please help us by making sure that what you've said, we can actually invest, and it actually can help us grow our money. We are going to have a team of people. They don't have to be OZA members, as long as you're in the diaspora, to help us help NAPSA in this venture. Thank you so much, everyone. We are going to ensure that we have the next town hall meeting, and we'll let you know, because we're very good in communicating to you, I'm sure you know. So, and that will be very, very soon. So to you, the NAPSA team, OZA, the ministry, and State House, thank you so much for taking your time. God bless you.
We
thank you, everyone. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Miss Matilda, I know you've been quiet. You may close the meeting. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining. I'll go ahead and stop the recording for the meeting.